Hello. Hi guys. It's my first time going live. Hello. Awesome. Okay, there's so many of you already. So yes, I have never gone live before. I'm a little bit nervous, but I wanted to share with you guys something that I have written that is very close to my heart. It's a little bit long, so bear with. Here we go. Okay. In September of 2020, my family was hit with the devastating news that my mom, the healthiest person I know, had been diagnosed with acute leukemia. In the midst of a global pandemic, it felt too surreal and terrifying to be true. She was in a very weakened state and needed to begin chemotherapy immediately. Visitors were not allowed into the cancer ward for the majority of her treatment due to COVID. And some of the strongest fear that I have ever felt was upon learning that one of the patients in her ward had contracted COVID-19, and that some of the staff members were no longer coming in because they had also contracted the virus. This time has been extremely challenging for so many people. I have close friends who have lost loved ones and family members to this virus. Trying to stay honest and aware about limiting my risk and the risk to others has been incredibly challenging and so limiting to my life. Wearing a mask has always been for me a choice to protect others around me. I've luckily never had COVID, but the virus doesn't scare me nearly as much as the idea of being the cause of someone else's illness and death. I see vaccinating as an extension of that desire to protect the most vulnerable in our society. I'm very happy to say, and lucky, that my mom has now completed her chemotherapy treatment, and her doctors have given her the all clear to get her vaccinations. They've also told her, however, that with her immune system compromised, she may only be protected at about 50% of what an average person would be with both shots. And that what is most important for her before she returns to her real life is that everyone closest to her is vaccinated. There are millions of people in the US who, even fully vaccinated, will not produce enough antibodies to be protected from the virus. This includes people who have had transplants, chemo patients, people who are HIV positive, those with autoimmune disorders, and those with certain blood cancers. You may think that this is a small minority of people, but 1 in 2 people will develop cancer in their lifetime. A statistic that just boggles the mind. If you know or love someone with cancer, I ask you, would you get vaccinated for them, for the sake of your loved ones? What about for someone else's loved ones? Even if you've already had COVID, getting fully vaccinated strengthens the antibody and T-cell production and helps to protect you from variants and new strains of the virus. Your grandparents and immune-compromised friends will be safer if you are vaccinated, even if you've already been infected. There are so many vaccines available all over our country, and they are free. We are incredibly lucky to be in this position when nearly every other country in the world is behind us in supplies and availability. We have so many vaccines, and yet the average number of daily shots has declined steadily over the past few weeks, which means we may never reach herd immunity. Which means what? for those that are immunocompromised. The CDC has now allowed those with the vaccine to go maskless in most circumstances, which leaves me very scared of the inevitability that there will be those who are not honest with themselves and others about their vaccination status. I ask you to think about the far-reaching consequences of your decision to get vaccinated, not just the personal ones. I beg you, if you haven't been vaccinated, please remain masked inside of public spaces for the safety of others. And please, whatever you do, don't lie and pretend that you have been vaccinated when you haven't. I am desperate to go back to concerts, to the theater, to spend time eating in restaurants with my friends. The world has become very dark and scary and changed so many times over the last 15 months. But I am as hopeful as anyone that someday soon we will get to a level of normal where everyone can feel as safe as possible. I chose to share this story with you because a very good friend of mine who was nervous about getting the vaccine told me that when I shared it with her, she felt more connected to the bigger picture and had decided to do it to help protect those in her community. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a beautiful week.